Hello guys, welcome back to our yet another Archicad tutorial. In this tutorial we shall continue looking up at how to set up our Archicad interface to be able to start modeling. So kindly like, subscribe, share and comment and turn on the notification bell to be able to motivate me to keep sharing content on BIM and CAD technologies. So in today's session, we shall start by importing a DWG, or how to import drawings from other programs into Archicad. So what makes Archicad good is that it is able to incorporate files from other applications. So here it could be able to import an Archicad, a PMK drawing, it can import a DXF file, a DWG file, a microstation design file, IFC files, SketchUp files, Google Earth, Rhino, and other types of files. So that's what makes Archicad user friendly. So we can open a file from here, or we can use the drag option, drag and drop into Archicad. So we can opt for the drag and drop into Archicad. So we can drag our DWG here into Archicad. So here it's bringing the units. We had used millimeter. So you press it. So here we've been able to place our new file into Archicad. So when you select it, it has a viewport. So you can drag the viewport to reduce the sizes. So you can drag it from here. Or you can drag it from here. So that is the viewport, which comes with the DWG file. DWG files are the ones which are mostly imported into Archicad, since they are reliable for scaling and precision. So you could select it, you could right click, then you could update it, or you could explode it into the current view. So let's explode it. So exploding it, the pop-up will come. So we shall opt to use drawing lines to avoid creating a lot of layers if we had opted for embedded layer. So we press OK. So we can select it, and first drag it away. Yeah, so now we have gotten, after exploding it, we've gotten this single element line. So you could select line from here and be able to trace on top of these lines. So if you wanted to draw a wall, you would come and be able to draw it on top of these lines. So we've selected the wall. Let's first escape. Take the whole tool. So we could opt for the inside face. So we could just change the orientation, center, so it's being offset. So that is how we can be able to import our drawings from a DWG file to Archicad. So we can come here and try to draw a wall. You could draw it from here. Just over here. So now we've inserted our wall. So after drawing the wall, we would like to learn how to edit elements in Archicad. So you could first select this viewport and delete it. Delete this important file. So now we are on the new wall. So we want to edit these elements of the wall. So there are various ways you can edit an element. So most of the elements have the same controls. For example, if you come to set document and draw a line, so when you go to its control points, they could be similar. Let's select it. So when you left click at the end of it, it brings control points, which could be helping in the modification of the element. So if we turn back to our wall, hit escape. If you turn to our wall, this is still the line icon which we had drawn. So let's select the wall. Then we left click here. It still has control points which are close to those of the line. So these control points, most of them change according to the element selected. So you should keep that in mind. So when you come back to our wall here, and when we start to create a wall, let me turn off. Now to grids, let me turn off these grids. So when you click here and you start to draw a wall, we get a tracker, and the tracker is that blue line with distance and angle. So in that tracker, when we press the tab key, we can able to type in the distance. So we need it to be 3,000 millimeters. So when you again press the tab key, we can able to edit the angle to 30 degrees. Then again the tab key, it could help us to edit the X coordinate. So that's it. So then you can press enter to be able to position our wall. Or again, when you to model the wall, so you come here and you type in the first distance or the first letter on that tracker. So if you type in D, it will take us direct to distance. You can change distance to 3,000. And if we type in angle, it will take us to the first letter of angle, which is A. If we hit it in, it will take us direct to the angle. So we can again press enter to be able to insert our wall. So that is how we use the tracker. Here on the ribbon, the tracker is controlled here. So if we hide tracker and come to model our walls, now we cannot input measurements according to the tracker because it is hidden. So we should ensure to always have our tracker on to be able to aid us in modeling. So now let's look at editing an element in Archicad. So if we want to edit, say, this wall we've created here, so we can select it. So I save the whole command, escape several times. So when you select the wall, when we left click at the edge, we get the pet palette. So that pet palette gives us options in which to modify the wall. So we have the stretch command, drag, rotate, mirror, elevate, and multiple copies. And it's different. So it depends on the position you tap on. So here, if we tapped on the midpoint, it brings various commands different from when you tap it at the endpoint. So here we have inserting nodes, curvilinear edges, segment, changing the shapes. So for example, if you want to change the arc radius, you could come in here, then you again hit your tab key and type in the radius. If you say 4000, enter. So it's able to modify the wall using that pet palette. So when you're using Archicad, you will use the pet palette often, so you should be familiar with it. And the pet palette changes according to the element and where you click. So for example, if you click at the edges, the stretch, if you click at the edges, the stretch command appears. Unlike if you clicked at the midpoint, there is no stretch command. So ensure to click the right place to modify. So for example, if you have two walls close to each other, say a wall here, then we move it, say move it here. We are stretching it to here. So yes, so now we've drawn the two walls. So now if we use the shift, select the two walls, joined by the edges, shift. And now we again right click here. Now the pet palette brings other options. So for example, here we can be able to offset our edges. So we can choose offset. Then by pressing Ctrl, we shall be able to create a copy. So the plus icon appears. Then we can press the tab key and type in the distance we would like to offset the walls. So we'll put 4000 millimeters, enter. So now our wall has been offset by 4000 millimeters. And using the Ctrl icon, we're able to create a copy of the offset wall. So the most common used icons or tips or commands on the pet palette are drag, mirror, and rotate. So you should be familiar with those three. So here we shall come back here. We select our wall. Then again, left click to bring up the pet palette. So now we have the drag icon. So we can drag it through a distance. Say if we tab key, we can type in the distance. We want to drag it. So we dragged it through 4000 millimeters. So it's appearing here. Again, by right clicking and choosing drag. And we press the control button, the plus sign appears on our cursor, and now we can drag it through a desired distance. So we can type in the distance as 1000, enter. So now we've created a copy. So when you're in the middle of the command and you press the control on the Windows key, you're able to create a copy. So to create multiple copies, you again right click, choose the command drag, then as you move, press Ctrl Alt tabs on your keyboard to create multiple copies. So here you can keep dragging as you create multiple copies. So that is how we use the drag tool or command on our paint palette. So next we shall look at the rotate. So when we come here to say we select these are holes, then we delete them. Then we come here. So when we select our hole, and we right click in the center, we have this rotate icon. So rotating, we need to first draw our first line of rotation. And after, we again now specify the angle. So this we could use this angle. So now it has been rotated. So again, when you press here, choose the angle of rotation, then you can pin tab, then you can able to insert the angle to rotate it, and again it's rotated. So to rotate it, maintaining the same element to create a copy. So again, as you're in the command, you can press the Control button. It brings the plus sign. So you can first draw the line of rotation. Then after, you again now draw the second point of the angle of rotation. So now you remain with your original copy. So again, to create multiple copies, you should again right click on it, opt for rotation, choose the line of rotation, then Control Alt. You see those three plus signs. Control Alt, the three plus signs have appeared. And choose the radius, then you could be able to choose the angle. Then again, you can keep changing those angles. In order to create multiple copies of the rotation. So the other command is the mirror command. So if you draw your hole here, then you select it, then you right click, there is a mirror command here. So after drawing the mirror, so you can go to any point and draw the mirror of the axis, the mirror axis. When you draw the mirror axis, it's able to mirror. So again, selecting it, choosing the mirror option and pressing Control on your keyboard, where you see the plus sign appears on our cursor, which will create a copy. So again, pressing the mirror command, and then you press Control Alt on your keyboard, you'll be able to create. You see, it doesn't work. You're able to create so for mirror, you're able to create one copy. So the other icon is drag, and of which we've already seen how to drag to create multiple copies. So you select it, right click, drag, Control Alt, then you can able to create the multiple copies as you've seen before. So for the mirror tool, you're able to mirror it once. You cannot create multiple mirror axes. So the next thing we shall go to now is how to add grids to our project. So when we come here, select our entire project and delete. We shall be able to use these grids when we are modeling our wall. So when we come to our document toolbox, our grid option is here, so we can draw our horizontal grid from here to there. So now that's our grid. So when you select it, you can able to name it from here. Here we can give it grid A and enter. So now we can edit the properties of this grid, so we can select it. Then here we can able to edit the properties. So the custom naming rules, we've given it S on the floor plan. Here we can enable it to show on all stories. Then here we could edit its grid line appearance. So here we could select whether to show entire height grid, but we would opt for this first one. Then here we could change the lines, so we could go with the dashed long. Then the markers, we could, in some practices, you could disable it here, then you press OK. So one of the markers is hidden, so you can press Ctrl T to come back to our settings. Then here we could enable again the marker. Could here put the marker. So again now we could edit its section elevation settings. So still we could maintain these same settings. Then now we can able to use the drag option to be able to create the horizontal and the vertical grids, which we shall be using in our project. So we could select it here, then left click, then the drag option is on, then control, then you can enable shift to move it in the exact angle. So the distance we will put 3,500 millimeters. So again we could again drag it. Then we could Control Alt to create multiple copies of the drag, then press Shift key to ensure it is in the vertical direction. So you could type in the distance here. So we need here to be at 4,000 millimeters. Enter. Then we again continue dragging it down. Again put it at 4,000 millimeters. Enter. So again we drag it. Control O. Control, we've selected 2. So we could type in the distance as 4,000 meters. So let's select this, escape. So here we could rename this, select it, call it B. Yeah. And here we could select it, call it C. Then here we could select it and we rename it. So here we're having 2. Let's first delete one. Having 2 on top of each other. Let's select this, rename it to C. Let's take this one, then rename it to D. So after here we can draw our vertical grids. So again, we come and select the grid tool. Select it from here to there. So we can change its name to 1. Enter. Press escape key. Select it. Then here the name. Can give it 1. So again, we can edit its properties by selecting it. Here you could change it to, again, to a dashed long. Okay. Not changing. So again, we could drag multiple copies of it. So we select it and right click, drag. As you drag, Ctrl Alt to create multiple copies. So the distance, you can give it 3,500. Enter. Again, drag it again through a distance of say 7,000 millimeters. Enter. Then we can again drag it through a distance of 10,000 millimeters. Enter. Then we could again drag it through a distance of 14,000 millimeters. Enter. So we could escape. So again, select it, rename it to, select this one, rename it to 3. Select this grid, rename it to 4. Select this grid, rename it to 5. So that's how we add grids in our model. So next we shall begin modeling walls into the project. So that's it for now. It's a bye for now.